Hey guys, so I'm making this video today. Whew, this is gonna be harder than I thought. Okay, so I was waiting to share some amazing, happy news with you guys, but sadly it turned out to be a different type of video. So about 2 months ago, I found out I was pregnant again, and we were over the moon because we really wanted to have a second child, and preferably close to Jax, because Jax is so active and we were really looking forward for them to grow up together and be able to play so that there's not too big of an age gap. So we were over the moon. We were so excited. The first pregnancy went so well that we didn't really think about, the possibilities about this one. But of course, just due to everybody always telling you to keep it secret for at least 10 to 12 weeks until you had the first ultrasound, we did. We only told close family and like our best friends. And then we went in for our first ultrasound, and they found out that I was having a miscarriage. So it was so incredibly unreal. So here's the thing, is that I felt something was up. I absolutely felt it, because I remember from my first pregnancy how I felt, and that is exactly how I felt for about the first 8 weeks. Like, I feel pregnant, I felt my boobs, my skin broke out, and all of a sudden, last 2 weeks up until 10 weeks, my skin cleared up. I wasn't as nauseous anymore, I wasn't as tired anymore. So all of a sudden, I just really didn't feel pregnant. But of course, this is not something you're going to share. This is not something you're going to tell your boyfriend, because you feel like you're probably jinxing it if you say something like that. So I didn't share any of that, and I was so nervous going into the first ultrasound, like even more nervous than the first time. But it's still such an insane shock when you hear it. Like, you're looking at the monitor, and the lady that's doing the ultrasound just doesn't say anything, and then the first thing she says is, "This is not good, this doesn't look good, it's too small, and I don't see a heartbeat." So it's still super fresh, as it is right now Saturday, and last Monday we found out. So it is just so surreal, because everybody that you told, which were like 5 different people or couples in total, is literally waiting for you to send the ultrasound pictures, and you sit there and she tells you, and something in my mind said, I knew it, I felt it, and I knew it, but still it's so painful. And then she says, okay, so the next step is that you call your midwife, and that you make an appointment, or you OBGN, I'm sorry, I think that's the right translation. And then you make an appointment to go to the hospital and see what options you have. And this appointment is literally like 5 to 10 minutes. So before you realize it, you're actually already like outside on the street. And then it really hits you, like, holy fuck, like, these people are waiting right now for these ultrasound pictures, and now I'm going to have to tell them. So I'm not really a brave person when it comes to that. So I literally WhatsApped them, because I just couldn't FaceTime or call them. So I WhatsApped my mom. She was of course waiting. She couldn't believe it. And then the parents of Gus, and then I think a day later we actually told our friends. But it's been such an emotional journey because, as you can imagine, it's not like, okay, you have a miscarriage and now it's done. No, we had an appointment on Thursday, so it was 4 days of just pretty much not living. Like, it was insane. I was in a bubble. Like, I didn't really want to go anywhere. We went out like for lunch to try to put my mind on something else, but I was afraid of like getting cramps. I was afraid of suddenly start bleeding, because they tell you that if your body didn't resolve it yet, sometimes just the now knowing of that it's not alive anymore, your body all of a sudden starts with the process of like getting rid of it. So like pretty much being afraid of all of a sudden starting to bleed like crazy and whatever, I just kind of like locked myself inside. And finally it was Thursday, so we went to the hospital, we had an appointment, and I already searched on the internet what the options were, and it was either a medicine that would take care of it, and then you have like 60 to 90% chance that it will succeed, or you would have to take a curettage, I think. I'm not sure how to say it in English, but that's an actual procedure where they go in and clean your uterus. So I was really not looking forward to that option. So I was actually hoping that they would recommend the medicine, and they did. So I took the medicine home, and it's like 4 pills that you have to vaginally put it in, and then 24 hours later exactly the same. So Thursday night I took the first doses, and pretty much like an hour later I started bleeding, and there was not really any cramps yet, but just bleeding. And then the next day I took the next doses, and then the cramps pretty much right after I took them, it just started, and the cramps became worse and worse, and there were not really any breaks in between anymore. At first it was like a period cramp, and then it goes away a little bit, and then it comes back, and all of a sudden it would become really heavy and intense, and there were like no pauses, no breaks. And it was, up until that point, it was really scary, because you can imagine it's only this size because it only lived to 8 weeks, so it only developed to 8 weeks. But it's just such a scary thought of either it being like literally in your pants or in the toilet, or you don't know what's going to happen, and there's nothing that can really prepare you to that moment. You don't know. They told me that this medicine can take up to a week to actually work, and that your cramps all of a sudden can start even if you took it like 5 days ago. So I would literally lay awake and thinking like, holy shit, like what am I gonna do? Am I gonna look at it? Am I, like, they told me that some people actually pee through something so they can catch it, and some people want to bury it, and some people want to save it, whatever. And I was just like, I really don't know if I even want to look. But then the feeling of actually flushing it felt so terrible as well. So I really didn't know what to do. And then finally last night, so the night from Friday to Saturday, so Friday night I took the second dose of medicine. And last night in the middle of the night, I think like 2 or 3 a.m., I woke up for Jax wanting his bottle, and I went to pee, and that was the moment I felt something. I always pee with the light off, so I struggled to put the light on. I looked in the toilet, and I saw exactly what they described. I think I can say I'm actually happy that I was so sleepy, because I think in the daylight and whatever, I would be shocked more. And right now I was still so sleepy that it took me a while to process it, but it went kind of slow because I was still waking up. And so I wasn't as shocked, and I was really trying to wake up like, hey, let's realize what's going on right now. Let's look and make sure that this is it, what needed to happen. So that happened last night, and I really wanted to make this video right now, so you're like in the moment with me. Like, this is not months later that I'm like right now I'm pretty much documenting it because I'm still bleeding really heavy, wearing those insane thick pads. That's also why I don't really want to go out, because I don't know what to wear to cover that up, but I just don't feel comfortable, because one moment I'm bleeding so heavy that I have to change it like after 30 minutes, so I don't want to be in a restaurant and like blood running through my pants. So this is what I'm going through now, and why I also really want to make this video is that I've noticed so many things. First of all, you're going through like this ashamed phase. Like, the first thing I thought is, oh fuck, what did I do wrong? I went through every day. I literally calculated back to when it was 8 weeks or when it stopped developing, and was thinking, what did I eat? What did I do? Maybe I was fighting too much with Cos, for example, and having too much stress. And now I find out after talking to Cos that he had like going through the same. He was also like literally calculating back and thinking, what have I done wrong? And it's such a messed up thing that we do that. And then on top of that, I was thinking about like telling my friends, and some people, honestly, they couldn't have reacted better. Like, there's a couple of people that reacted so sweet. They even said like, I don't know what to say, and that's okay, because you've never been through it. It's completely normal that you don't know what to say, but they were there for me. You know, they really asked how am I or how am I doing, or if there's anything they could do for me. You know, if they had to babysit Jax, for example, that I needed some time for myself. And that's so sweet. And then there were a couple of friends that didn't respond at all how I would have expected. They literally typed one thing, and the next thing was if I could help them with the business. It was so incredibly disappointing. Like, I really understand that you don't know what it is to go through this. I completely understand that, and I don't expect you to respond like perfectly. You know, there is no perfect way, but to literally dedicate one sentence, hit enter, and the next sentence is, if I can help you to start up a business, please sit down and think about what I'm going through, because this is the thing, and this is why I really want to make this video. There is still a big taboo on this. Like, from all the people I know, and I know a ton of people through business, through social media, I don't know one person that had a miscarriage. I only know one in my family, and that is it. That means that either all of these people that I know have been incredibly lucky, or there are people in there that didn't say anything. And I'm not saying that it's your responsibility to talk about it, but at the same time, if we don't raise awareness that this is something pretty normal, then we can't get it accepted to talk about. Like, if a person right now asks me, like, why am I crying, or what's happening, I'm not gonna say because I just had a miscarriage. And why not? Why is that not something that I could just say? Because I'm afraid to shock that person. I'm afraid to make them uncomfortable. And that's so not okay. It's so not okay that I don't feel comfortable enough to tell my girlfriend that she responded really cold on this, and that she's not at all been there for me. That it's just so... I want to share this for two reasons. For first of all, that it becomes like more accepted for people to talk about, and that it's not necessarily something bad to talk about, because we need to talk about it for it to like eventually let it go. Like, you're not really letting it go, but accepting it for yourself and be able to live with it. And the second thing is, I understand that a lot of people are not aware of the entire process. Like, let me put it this way. If somebody told me they had a miscarriage, I would respond like, that's so incredibly sad. Like, I wish I could do something for you. But I would still not realize what all comes with it. That I've knowingly carried this around for another 5 days in me. It destroyed me. It literally destroyed me. Like, people would call and like call Cos, and he would pick up and they would ask, hey, how are you doing? And Cos would be, I'm great, I'm fine, everything is going well. And I would sit there like, I'm not. I would literally think I'm dying inside. Like, I'm sitting here knowing I'm carrying a little fetus, or that's maybe not the right word, but in my mind I'm carrying a little child that's of course not developed yet, but it's mine. And I'm sitting here acting all normal. It was so weird that I know life goes on. I've been through many things, but it was just feeling so weird because for me, my life was on hold until, it was out of my body and I could start processing it and moving on. I just felt everything was on hold and everybody, continues life, and that's of course normal, but I just really felt like I was just paused and waiting for the moment that I could move on again. And I've just noticed that from the people that you might expect much more for them being there for you, it not always happens. And I just really don't know if it's because they don't understand what it is, they don't understand that it's not a one-day thing. It's not like, hey, I'm having a miscarriage, okay, it's done. It's not only emotionally a way longer journey than that, but it's also physically. Like yesterday, I was almost crying from the pain that I was having, and there was no painkiller because in the Netherlands we just have like normal painkillers. We don't have heavy ones that we can just use like that. The normal painkiller didn't do anything, and I was feeling I was going through labor last night, knowing I was gonna push like a dead fetus out. It was just such a rough freaking thing. And don't get me wrong, because I realize in some way I can be happy that my body said this is not correct, like this is not right, this is not a healthy baby, so we're gonna stop it. And I understand that for people that are carrying a baby much longer, that it's actually is a miscarriage in month 7, 8, 9, that must be so much harder. Like, I can't even imagine that you've carried a child for that long and then something goes wrong, or that you might not even be able to have children. Let me just put that up out there first. Like, I can't imagine how hard that is. But I still really think that we need to talk about this more. Like, people, especially like influencers, people that are in the spotlight, people that their life is on the table, we need to talk about this. If this happened to you, share this and make it, if you're okay with it, make it public, because you can feel so alone. Like, I really felt like, what did I do wrong? What happened? Like, I lived so healthy and I was still thinking, oh, maybe I drank something before I knew I was pregnant, and that was the cause. Like, it's so terrible to feel this way, and it's also so terrible that you don't get the support that you actually wanted from the people around you. So I'm sorry this was such an emotional video, but as I said, I really wanted to make this in the middle of everything while I'm still going through it. So right now, I think it's gone, but I don't know for sure. I'm still bleeding pretty heavily, and they told me that once I stop bleeding, I have to take a pregnancy test, which is going to be another emotional moment, because normally a pregnancy test is something that you're looking forward to. It's an exciting thing. And now I only have to hope that it shows non-pregnant, and that would mean that my uterus is completely empty, because they told me even if there's a tiny bit left, it still produces the hormone that tells your body you're pregnant. So it would still show up as a positive test. So all I can do right now is hoping that my body cleared itself due to the medicine, and that the pregnancy test that I'll probably take in a couple of days will be negative, and then I can move on. They told me that this doesn't mean that I can't get pregnant again. They also told me that I don't even have to wait to try again. But I think emotionally, I think it's better if Cuz and I are just gonna live our life and not really actively trying to get pregnant, and just see how everything goes, because I don't know how I would take it if I straight up get pregnant again and would have to go through this again. So I think it's the best, really emotionally and for my body as well, to give me the rest and focus on getting healthy again, getting my body strong again. And that's it. I think I also wanted to say one more thing, is that I already have a healthy child, and my gratefulness for Jax has even, I didn't think it could be any bigger, but it is. I'm so extremely grateful that I already have Jax, and that I also know that I can be healthy pregnant. I just want to put my heart out there for you guys that had experienced this for the first time you were pregnant, because I can't imagine how of an emotional slump you're in, and how hard it then is to get pregnant again, and having those nerves again, and the doubt if you even are able to, get healthy pregnant again. So I do know from the hospital staff that they told me that it happens a lot. The miscarriage is 1 to 4 people that get pregnant have a miscarriage the first or the second or the third time, and are still able to get healthy pregnant. So this is also one thing that I want to say, is that don't ever get discouraged. I know people that have had 4 miscarriages and still were able to get 2 healthy children. So please don't ever get discouraged. Because I feel that too. I really feel like I'm maybe not sure if I want to try again, even though I know this is just something I have to go through, and eventually I will be able to get myself together again, and not actively try, but let my life run its course. But don't get discouraged. I understand, but do give yourself the time to process things. So this was it. I think I've talked about everything. Please, if you have any questions for me or about the procedure, ask away. And thank you for watching. I know this was not an easy clip or an easy video to watch. I'm gonna go downstairs and hug Jax. Okay.